yes, I made friends. I made friends with a guy who was on the cleanup crew for the shit slingers. So the shit slingers are in Supermax. They're housed in a certain area.
I picture the shit slingers as having matching jackets. I know they don't, but I picture them having matching jackets that say SS, except it's very Nazi-esque, but they say it's for shit slingers. Yeah. I see what you.
Everyone in the whole prison match. But carry on.
So a basic shit slinging might be then, you just get some crap or some piss, throw it on a guard, throw it on an enemy, or if you want to be a bit more productive, you could like get a chicken bone, put some crap on it, make a blowpipe, and dart the person going past your cell. And bear in mind that there's a lot of hepatitis in prison, and if you want to be more devious, you can like let the shit and piss sit for days until mold grows on it, and it's more toxic. But the Rambo of the shit slingers was a guy called Magnum, and he was really harassing the guards, getting them constantly. So shampoo bottle, tube. He had a bazooka basically where he could spray shit.
So he would like stomp on it and it would spray shit everywhere.
He had this whole cell
worth it.
He had this whole cell rigged up. With shit.
Dude, Magnum's even cooler than fucking T-Bone. But what was like? I'm curious. What is like the feel towards Magnum from the other prisoners when he does stuff like that? Are they like, "You get him, Magnum? That's hilarious," or is it like, "Stay away from that guy. He's gross"?
All right, because I wasn't housed on the shit slinger row. I only got these stories from the cleanup crew guy, so I don't know, how applauded he was by the people he was housed with.
Okay,
but the guards were having none of it, so they went in his cell. They took all of his appliances. They got him completely naked, and they handcuffed him behind his back, like cuffs, ankle cuffs, belly cuffs, hands, everything. Completely naked, and put him in a dry cell where he had nothing whatsoever. Now, in this dry cell, there's just like a hole in the middle of the cell, which like where piss can go down. But there's nothing else in the cell. But they underestimated.
Right. Did he fill his mouth? Tell me he filled his mouth.
They underestimated his resolve.
Yeah, his resolve.
So at head height is an area where the guards can open and look in on him every 20 30 minutes. Security walk, got to check on him. So Magnum crapped on the floor of the dry cell, turned his body around so he could mouth it, and then raised his head to head height, waiting for the next guard to do a security walk while his saliva is blending into the
brewing it. Yeah.
I feel like I have the ingenuity to be a shit slinger. All right, I called it.
This is fucking disgusting.
So the guards have a protective visor, right?
Yeah.
So the guard's head pops up at the door, slat opens, Magnum's face, Magnum's mental face. He's right there. The guard sees this coming at him. The guard gets so freaked out and shocked and scared, he puts his head back like that. And it goes up inside the visor, up his nose and in his eyes.
And he probably got hep out of it.
Well, yeah, that's the gamble. Yep. So that was
That's
Magnum.
Brutal. I mean, stomping on the shampoo bottle with the straw in it, though, as a form of
here's the problem with that, though.
Great.
Here's the problem with that. I can just imagine someone going to the warden and being like, "Do you know that they're so sweaty down there, their skin is almost coming off of them? Do you know that one of them shat on the floor the other day, mouthed it, and then waited half an hour for a guard to pass so that he could spit it into his eyes?" No, I did not know that, warden. I'm so sorry for wasting your time here today.
and like the way
I have some moldy bread I'd like to donate.
the way you say he mouthed it really undersells the way that he was big. I'll say he was beginning to eat his shit. There's no way there was zero drippage in the back of the throat as he's standing there for how long do you think? 20, 30, 40, 50, an hour?
I reckon, it could have been up to like 20, 25 minutes max. Yeah.
Standing there with a mouthful of shit. How many times as you're standing there in prison in the middle of the room hole cell with a mouthful of shit before you're like, when did my life go off the rails? Like, when did it become unsalvageable? That now my main thing is building up a reputation as the guy who's willing to semi-swallow the most nasty things so he can get a glancing blow off of a guy who just wants to go home and like play Madden.
Some of these people are gone. They're completely gone. They're serving forever. They're mentally gone, and they've got nothing to lose, and they just don't give a fuck.
They need to give that guy a deck of cards or something so that he'll stop pooping on them. What was his main? Like, he's protesting, I suppose. That's why he is doing these horrible things. What is he protesting specifically, or is it just the prison conditions in general?
The cleanup crew guy just said to me that the shit slingers are just people who are crazy. They're serving life sentences, and some of them are just sat in there all day just playing with their own poo.
I love how they're I love how you phrase it like they're like their own like kind of ancillary clan in this Mad Max world where like the Aryans the Aryans and the 13 or whatever the Hispanic gang is, like they are aware of the shit slingers. They know of them, but they don't deal with them in any way. And so like if there were some sort of hero to come into this world and save things, one of the first things he would do is he would go, we need to talk to the shit slingers, and then they would overcome their irreconcilable differences and be like, fine, you can still spit shit at people, but you have to do it in my rules. And then they would fight back against the powers that be.
Yeah,
Zach, remove the last few seconds of audio. I'm going to reach out to Netflix. Who are you again? No, I'm telling you, it's a good idea. It's a great... Okay, $2 million an episode.
The shit slingers are a law unto themselves.
Yeah,
That's
they're like
they're
in 300. Do you remember the Immortals?
Yes.
Who kind of played for the Persians, but like it was also like and the Immortals. Fighting for the Persians, but mostly for themselves, like that kind of shit. Like that's what they're like. The ultimate warriors who will glom on to any sort of cause as long as they can spit shit at people.
Who are the?
And that's how my blog, John's Jail Journal, started. And the first stuff I wrote down was when the jail had no running water for 3 days, and I knew we were in trouble when the mound of crap in the toilet had risen above the water level.
Oh no.
Yeah. So inmates display, remarkable ingenuity during these difficult occasions. And the solution was to shit in the plastic bags the moldy breakfast bread is served in. And then you just keep those bags in your cells until you're allowed out for a shower and put them in the trash downstairs. So that was the solution. But you had to wait on all that. And it took a long period of time to get the crap out.
And you're filling bags with shit.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
it's pretty. Although, hold on, awful. I do like how you said that you're like, oh, these prisoners, they are ingenious in these scenarios. The solution was to take a bag and put the shit in it, and then take it out. It's really remarkable.
So that was the first day of my writing. I was writing about that. The whole building reeked like a giant portaloo, and we're sleeping right next to the toilet. It's like living in a bathroom. Your toilet's there, your bunks are there. So we put a towel over the toilet to try and reduce the smell. Now, the next day of my writing, my cellmate, he's been holding a shit in for days because he doesn't want to do a dump when there's this big pile of crap already over the water level, but he can't hold it in any longer. So he pinches his nose, lifts the towel from the toilet and says, "There's way too much crap to crap on, dog. I'm going to use a bag."
Oh.
So as etiquette demands, I roll over on my bunk and face the wall. I hear something hit the rim of the seatless toilet and him say, "Damn, I missed some."
Is it like pissing in a bottle on a road trip where you're like, "Oh, I'm filling up. So
he puts the bag of crap near the cell door, which made the smell even worse in the cell. Where he's got it on the fucking rim of the cell, the shit. Because we've got no running water, we can't clean that off. So that looks like a fucking crustacean on the rim.
Oh,
and
God, just a cute barnacle on your.
and then we were hoping to be let out of the cell to dispose of the bag, but a guard announced, "We've got no running water. We're going to have to get 120 inmates water from emergency containers. So you're all staying locked down." Now, hours and hours later, the water came back on in stages. In our toilet, its level slowly rose. So I said, "Oh shit, it's about to overflow."
This is about to be a cataclysmic event.
It's about to overflow, and we're going to be stuck in here with sewage all over the floor.
Quick, what did the ingenious criminals do?
The cellmate, what he said was, "One of us needs to stick his hand in the crap to let the water through, and you're the closest, dog."
You're the closest, like in an 8 by 10 foot room. You're 9 inches closer. Hey, you're closer, man. I'm 11 inches further this way. I don't make the rules of prison. Reach your hand in there.
I was a few inches closer. So I grabbed. It was too late to do anything. I grabbed the sandwich bag and I put it on my hand and I said, "I can't believe I'm doing this." I plunged my hand into the mound and the mound sucked the bag off my hand and up to my elbow in sewage. I dug.
This is
until the water level sank. I'll never forget it. There was even like pieces of grapefruit peel mixed with the shit and everything. and then
wait a minute. Let's not gloss over that. Did some mongrel in the prison
he was eating
not know how to properly peel a grapefruit, and
just some guy down there in the common area, like, "Man, this fruit sucks." Like, just take a big bite from behind.
As an aside to this story, though, Sheriff Joe Arpaio prided himself on feeding us the moldy food. I think we discussed it last time.
Yeah,
he was making news headlines for cleaning up grapefruits from rat-infested neighborhoods. So that had been our breakfast fruit day after day. Had been these grapefruits from the rat-infested neighborhoods.
Jesus Christ!
Now we've got no trash can, so at the inception of the water problem, we'd been throwing grapefruit peel down the toilet, and that had formed a base over the crap that had, So I'm thinking through all this, and the water did go down. My cellmate's like, "I owe you one, dog." I'm like, "It's your turn next time.
You owe me 5 or 7
But
things."
The combination sink water had not come back on.
Oh no!
So I could not wash my arm.
Oh.
I sat on a stool till a guard let us out for showers. Hours later, just fucking caked in crap. Yeah,
and most of it wasn't even your crap.
They chose you because you were closest.
It was a blend.
That doesn't seem like a fair system. Like, were you the lowest seniority in this? Like, is there something aside from you're closest to the toilet?
No, honestly, I was just acting fast. Yeah, we just had to do it right away. Yeah, no.
It's funny you mentioned that. It's funny you mentioned that, like reaching in elbow deep, because I can really picture it, because I rewatched the original Jurassic Park for the first time last night since I was a child, and when the lady's trying to discover why the Triceratops is sick and she's reaching in, except that was like an herbivore shit. Herbivore shit isn't half as gross, isn't a quarter as gross as carnivore shit. Like you know, Kyle, you grew up around a bunch of cows. Cow shit is still disgusting, but there's something about, like, if you saw a pile of cow shit in a pile of human shit and you had to clean one of them up, I'd be like, yeah, I'll take this and the next 10 cow pies.
I'll say
over
this.
The human shit.
If you step in cow shit, you're like, "Oh dang, glad I wore my boots." If you step in human shit, you're like, "The fuck? Who shit here?"
Yeah, the cow shit's mostly going to come off in the grass on its own because it's largely grass. Yeah.
I interviewed a prison guard. Let me just tell you a little aside story on this. So in England, they got this thing called dirty protests, and they're called shit slingers in America. I don't know if we went over all the shit slinger stories last time, but I've got a lot of shit slinger stories.
I'm sure.
So including the Rambo of the shit slingers was this guy called Magnum. Oh yeah, well we could get to that. But I interviewed a prison guard on my true crime podcast, and they said they were doing dirty protests day after day. They smeared shit all over the cell walls and everything, and they figured out a way to stop it. And the way to stop it was when they let these guys go out for recreation, instead of putting them back in their own cells, they put them in each other's cells, so they had to smell each other's shit that had been caked on the walls, and it stopped. That stopped the protest quite quickly.
That's a high IQ solution.
Yeah,
that's a very good, because like you get let back into your own shitty room, and you're like, yeah, we're protesting, but they're like, no, you're in room 2B, and it's like, oh well, I understand Josh is also protesting, but this is disgusting. Like, what is Josh eating? How is Josh eating the same mandatory meals as me? How's he making this into that cauldron of a body?
Reminds me of Neil Samworth.
That's so awful.
Yeah,
it would be terrible.
Oh.